Hey, welcome back. For the final part of our series on constitutions, we're diving into a truly massive topic, the blueprint for the world's largest democracy, the Indian Constitution.
So just to recap where we are, in Part 1 we broke down what a constitution even is and why a country needs one. Then in Part 2 we saw it all play out in the real world with Nepal's amazing journey to democracy. Now we're taking everything we've learned and applying it to a case of just incredible scale and complexity, India.
I mean, just think about the question the framers of the Indian Constitution were facing. It's huge. How on earth do you create one single set of rules, one democratic government, for a country with so many different languages, religions, and cultures? How do you unite all of that while still making sure everyone is free and treated fairly?
Well, their brilliant answer was to build the entire democratic system on 5 foundational pillars. Think of these as the core principles that hold the whole thing up. So let's dig in and break them down one by one.
Okay, first up, pillar number 1, federalism. You can basically think of this as a game plan for sharing power. I mean, in a country as gigantic as India, there's just no way one government in the capital could manage everything.
So yeah, the textbook definition is pretty simple. Federalism just means you have more than one level of government. But the why is what's really important here. Because of India's sheer size and all its diversity, a one-size-fits-all approach just wasn't going to cut it.
So, the Constitution sets up 3 main tiers. You've got the central government at the top, handling big national stuff like defense. Then you have the state governments, which take care of issues specific to their regions. And right down at the grassroots level, you have the Panchayati Raj for local villages. And here's the really crucial part. The states aren't just puppets of the central government. They get their power and authority directly from the Constitution itself.
All right, on to pillar number 2. And this is where you and I, the citizens, really enter the picture. We're talking about a parliamentarian form of government. And the absolute bedrock of this system is something called universal adult suffrage. It's a simple but incredibly powerful idea. Every single adult citizen gets to vote. It doesn't matter who you are, what your social status is, your caste, class, or gender. And you have to remember, for the time this was written, this was a profoundly radical idea.
And that was the whole point. The vote wasn't just about picking leaders. It was meant to be a tool for social revolution. By giving everyone an equal voice at the ballot box, the framers were hoping to build a truly democratic culture and start chipping away at those old, rigid social hierarchies.
Okay, pillar number 3, separation of powers. So, you've given the people the power to elect their government. But wait, how do you stop that government from getting too powerful? Well, this is how. The Constitution very deliberately divides the power of the state into 3 separate branches. You have the legislature, that's our elected representatives, and their job is to make the laws. Then you have the executive, that's the government itself, and they implement the laws. And finally, you have the judiciary, the court system, which interprets those laws.
But here's the genius part. These 3 branches don't just exist in their own little bubbles. They are designed to keep each other in check. The courts can say a law made by the legislature is unconstitutional. The legislature can hold the executive accountable for its actions. It's this system of checks and balances that prevents any one part of the government from abusing its power.
Now for pillar number 4, and this one is personal. It's all about protecting the individual citizen. We're talking about fundamental rights, and they act like a shield for every single one of us.
This part of the Constitution is often called its conscience, and that's such a perfect word for it. Its whole purpose is to protect people from the state just doing whatever it wants, and also to protect minorities from being railroaded by the majority.
The Constitution guarantees 6 of these rights, everything from the right to equality and the right to freedom of speech to the right against exploitation. But the real game changer is the last one, the right to constitutional remedies. This basically means if you feel any of your other rights have been violated, you can go directly to court to get it fixed. It's the right that makes all the other rights real.
And that brings us to our 5th and final pillar, secularism. But hang on, because the way India handles secularism is pretty unique. So, the basic definition is simple enough. A secular state is one that doesn't officially promote any single religion. It's not a Hindu state or a Muslim state or a Christian state, it's for everyone.
But here's the special Indian twist, a concept called principled dissent. See, it's not a strict wall separating religion and state like in the US. Instead, the Indian state can get involved in religious matters, but only to uphold the values of the Constitution, like equality. So the state can step in to fight discrimination within a religion, or to abolish practices like untouchability, all to make sure justice is served.
So when you step back and look at the whole picture, these 5 pillars, federalism, a parliamentary government, separation of powers, fundamental rights, and secularism, they don't exist in isolation. They're all woven together to create this incredible foundation, one designed to balance the country's amazing diversity with national unity.
And maybe the most important thing to remember is that this document was never meant to be frozen in time. It's a living document. It's been changed and updated many times over the decades to adapt to the needs of a changing nation, which shows that it's designed to evolve right alongside its people.
Which leaves us with a final, really fascinating question to think about. If the very blueprint of the nation is designed to change and evolve, what does that mean for the future of the world's largest democracy? What challenges and transformations are still to come? That's definitely something to chew on. Thanks for watching.